Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're diving into something. Well, something I think a lot of us feel. It's this paradox, right? We live in this age of incredible connection, information overload, really. But somehow we often end up feeling more stressed, more isolated, maybe even more divided than ever.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Like, we can send these amazing machine satellites deep into space.
Right. But then struggle to just, connect with someone across the table. Send a bit of
Or
kindness.
we master these incredibly complex algorithms,
Uh-huh.
but the language of the heart,
Yeah.
that feels, well, harder sometimes.
Exactly. And that's precisely the challenge that Reuben Juma Onunga tackles in his book, Emotional Intelligence for Today's Challenging World. He talks about emotional intelligence, EI, not as some fuzzy, nice-to-have soft skill, but more like the unseen art of living with balance.
I like that phrasing.
Yeah, it's this quiet, steady power, he argues, we desperately need to navigate, these modern storms we're all in. It's the bridge between the head and the heart.
And what really makes Anunga's take on this so compelling, I think, is his background. It's quite unique.
Tell us a bit about that.
Well, he's a professional civil and environmental engineer. I
Yeah.
mean, this is someone who has designed huge infrastructure projects in Kenya, bridges, water systems.
Wow, okay. So you'd expect a very technical, mathematical viewpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he had this realization. He says the greatest challenges are rarely mathematical. They are human.
That's powerful.
It really is. And adding another layer to that, his own personal journey. He's been open about his struggles with mental health, specifically bipolar disorder. So when he writes about this stuff, it's not just theory from a textbook. It comes from a place of real authenticity. These are lived experiences,
Yeah.
tested.
That makes such a difference. It's not just abstract ideas, it's grounded in reality and struggle.
Okay.
Okay, so our mission for you today, listening in, is really to unpack this wisdom from Onunga. We want to explore his core pillars of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, the building blocks.
See how they actually apply to the messy, nuanced challenges you face every day, and figure out why building this skill, this EI, why it's not just optional anymore.
He argues it's essential, absolutely essential for thriving today.
Right. So let's start with understanding it. For generations, we kind of equated intelligence with, well, academics, right? IQ scores, knowing lots of facts.
Totally. That was the gold standard.
But Onunga points out this sobering truth the world eventually learned. Having a high IQ, being intellectually brilliant. It didn't guarantee anything when it came to managing emotions or, having good relationships. Lots of gifted people really struggled.
Yeah, he uses this phrase, brilliant yet broken. It's quite evocative.
Mm.
He gives these examples like the professor who understands the universe but can't connect with his own family, doesn't understand the dynamics in his own household.
Right. Or the executive.
Oh, yeah, the executive managing billions, literally billions, but flies off the handle in meetings, can't manage his own temper.
And the engineer, like himself.
Exactly. Designing these incredible bridges, physical bridges, but failing completely to bridge the gaps, the emotional distance with the people he loves.
So these aren't just stories. They make a clear point.
Absolutely.
Wow.
They show, as Onunga puts it, that intellect alone does not guarantee fulfillment. It often doesn't even guarantee basic competence in really crucial human situations.
Okay, so if that's the problem, the disconnect, how does Onunga actually define emotional intelligence for us? What is it beyond just being, nice?
Well, he breaks it down. That's really two key things. First, the ability to really understand and skillfully manage your own emotions.
Okay, the internal part.
Right. And second, just as important, is the ability to perceive, to interpret, and then, crucially, respond appropriately to the emotions of other people.
So internal and external, personal and social.
Precisely. It's that mix. So it's not just noticing you're angry. It's asking, okay, why am I angry? And then choosing a constructive response, not just lashing out.
Or seeing someone else as maybe anxious.
Yeah, noticing that subtle fear in a colleague, maybe in their voice or body language, and offering genuine reassurance. Not just ignoring it or trying to argue them out of it with logic.
That bit about understanding why. That feels really key, doesn't it? Not just what, but why.
It is. And Anunga really hammers home that this isn't just a personal development tool. It's vital now in our current world.
Why now, specifically? What's changed?
He keeps coming back to this idea of our paradoxical world. Technology connects us across the globe.
But we feel lonelier in our own neighborhood sometimes.
Exactly. Or we're drowning in information, data points everywhere.
But actual wisdom, that seems harder to find.
Right. So in this specific context, Onunga argues that EI isn't just useful, it's actually necessary for survival and meaningful living. It's the counterbalance, the anchor we need against all the pressure and noise of the 21st century.
It really feels that way. You know, we often talk about IQ versus EQ, and IQ might get your foot in the door, sure.
Opens the first door, yeah.
But Onunga makes it crystal clear. EQ is what determines if that door stays open, if you can actually walk through it and succeed long term.
IQ gets the job.
EQ keeps the job,
Yeah.
sustains the career, builds the relationships you need.
It's like IQ might attract people initially, maybe to your technical skills or ideas.
But EQ, your humanity, that's what makes them want to stay, to collaborate with you, trust you.
He uses that great analogy of the two doctors, doesn't he?
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, explain that one.
Okay, so you have two surgeons. Both are, let's say, technically brilliant, top of their field in terms of skill.
Right.
But one is dismissive, arrogant, impatient. Patients are kind of scared of him. The nurses try to avoid him if they can.
We've all met people like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Then there's the other surgeon, equally skilled, technically just as good, but she's patient, kind, respectful. She actually listens, explains things clearly, treats her team well.
Big difference in the experience.
Huge. Her career isn't just about fixing bodies. She's mending hearts, building trust, creating a healing environment. And that difference, it's not in the medical textbooks.
No, that's pure emotional intelligence in action.
Exactly. It perfectly illustrates his core idea. Human beings are not machines. We don't operate purely on logic.
Our emotions are always in the mix.
Always. Our decisions, our reactions, they're steeped in emotion. So EI isn't about getting rid of emotions, suppressing them. It's about mastering them.
He has that great phrase.
Yeah, learning how to paint with them, using them constructively, channeling them, not crushing them.
I love that. Learning how to paint with them. Okay, so let's get practical. Onunga lays out 5 main pillars, right? 5 core components of emotional intelligence.
That's right, 5 pillars. And he stresses these aren't just theories, they're like living skills, things you use constantly.
Okay, let's walk through them. Pillar number 1, the foundation, he says, is self-awareness.
The bedrock.
He calls it the mirror of the soul, which sounds poetic, but what does it mean practically?
It means really knowing yourself, knowing your strengths honestly without inflating them, but also, and this is maybe harder, knowing your weaknesses without shame.
Without shame. That's tough.
It is. It's also about recognizing your emotions as they happen, anger, joy, fear, whatever, and crucially, starting to understand why you feel them. What are the triggers? What's underneath? He calls it uncovering the hidden engines of our actions.
So what's a common pitfall here? Someone might think, yeah, I know myself pretty well.
Well, Onunga points out that while acknowledging strengths is often easy, really facing weaknesses without getting defensive or ashamed is a big hurdle. Another subtle challenge he raises is recognizing the physical signs of your emotions before your brain fully catches up. You know, that sudden tightness in your chest, the jaw clenching, shoulders tensing up.
Ah, okay. Tuning into the body's signals.
Exactly. That sort of precognitive awareness, he suggests, gives you a crucial window to choose your response. It's not about self-blame. It's about gaining a moment of freedom.
How do you build that awareness?
He suggests simple, consistent practices, pausing regularly to ask, what am I feeling right now? Why? Journaling can help untangle things. Meditation, mindfulness.
And feedback.
Yes, being willing to really listen to feedback from others, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it stings a bit, that takes humility.
So for you, the listener, developing this means turning those weaknesses you become aware of into strengths you can manage. Becoming, as he says, strong enough to face the truth inside yourself.
Yeah, it's the starting point for genuine growth.
Okay, so if self-awareness is looking in the mirror, pillar number 2, self-regulation, is about what you do with what you see.
Right. He calls it the discipline of the soul.
Discipline of the soul. I like that. It's about choosing your response, isn't it? Response over reaction. Calm over chaos.
Exactly. It's like being the guardian at the gate of our emotions, deciding what gets expressed and how. But, and this is really important, it's not about suppression.
Okay, clarify that difference. Because people might think regulation means bottling it all up.
He makes a critical distinction between suppression and what he terms wise release. It's about channeling the energy of the emotion constructively.
Give an example.
Okay, take anger. Unregulated anger leads to outbursts, damage. But regulated anger, that can fuel a fight for justice, a determination to fix something wrong. It has power.
Or fear.
Fear, when regulated, doesn't have to paralyze you. It can motivate you to prepare, to take precautions, to be careful. It becomes useful information.
So this prevents those blow-ups, those moments we regret later.
Exactly. Those uncontrolled outbursts that can wreck a career or leave deep scars on relationships. Think about a leader facing criticism.
Okay.
The unregulated response might be defensiveness, lashing out. The regulated response, listening calmly, considering the feedback, responding with dignity, even if you disagree.
And he says we practice this in small moments.
Yes, he calls everyday frustration stuck in traffic, dealing with a rude person, a slow computer lull, furnaces where self-control is forged. These are our training grounds.
So counting to 10 actually works.
It can. Or deep breathing, taking a short walk, creating that tiny pause between the trigger and your response. That's the muscle you're building.
So for you listening, cultivating this means you carry a kind of quiet power. You become, hopefully, a beacon of peace, at least for yourself and maybe for others too.
Instead of adding to the chaos.
Right. Okay, pillar 3 is motivation. But Onunga is specific here. It's not just any motivation.
No, he draws a sharp line. He says, true, deep motivation runs much deeper than the usual external stuff we chase: money, promotions, fame, getting applause.
He calls those shallow rivers.
Yeah, they can motivate for a while, but they often run dry, especially when things get tough.
So where does the real, resilient kind of motivation come from, according to him?
He argues it's born not of applause, but of purpose. It comes from a deep inner conviction, from your heart, that your life needs to have meaning, that you want to contribute something beyond just your own benefit.
Purpose over praise.
That's it. And that kind of motivation, he says, is what builds incredible resilience. It's what keeps people going through hardship.
Can you give some examples?
Think about history. The scientist working for years on a cure, facing setbacks. The social reformer, enduring opposition for a cause they believe in. Their primary driver usually isn't money or fame.
It's that deeper purpose.
Exactly. And it applies in everyday life, too. The student pushing through difficult studies for a future goal. The farmer carefully tending crops, looking towards the harvest. There's an intrinsic drive there.
So for you, the listener, tapping into this means finding that internal why. That's what helps turn discouragement into determination.
Right. It turns fear into focused preparation. It means feeding your fire within, as he puts it, with vision, not vanity.
Vision, not vanity. That's a great line. Okay, pillar number 4, empathy.
Empathy, so crucial.
He calls this the bridge that connects us to others, stepping outside yourself, essentially.
Yeah, it's about making a genuine effort to enter into someone else's feelings, to try and see the world just for a moment from their perspective. And crucially, valuing their emotions as real and valid, even if you don't fully understand them or agree with them.
What does Onunga see as the biggest obstacle to doing that effectively?
Probably our tendency to jump to judgment, or trying to fix things immediately, or minimizing their pain.
Like saying, oh, it's not that bad, or look on the bright side, or other people have it worse.
Exactly. Those phrases often shut down connection. He emphasizes that every person carries an invisible burden. Empathy is simply acknowledging that burden, saying, in effect, your pain is real and I see it.
And that simple act can change things.
Dramatically. It can prevent conflicts from escalating. It helps men trust when it's fragile. It can even turn an employee's frustration into loyalty if a manager truly listens with empathy. Think of a parent patiently listening to a child's seemingly small problem instead of dismissing it.
It requires humility, doesn't it? Suspending your own viewpoint for a moment.
Absolutely. Humility is key. It's not about agreeing, it's about understanding. And in a world that feels so divided sometimes, empathy creates the common ground we need to even start finding solutions.
He calls it a strength that enlarges us.
Yeah, because it expands your world, your understanding, leads to much richer, deeper connections.
Okay, that brings us to the 5th and final pillar. Social skills. This is where it all comes together, right?
Yeah.
The outward expression.
Precisely. This is where self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, and empathy all get translated into action. How you interact with others.
So what does that look like in practice?
It's the practical stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking kindly, even when disagreeing. Listening patiently, actively. Resolving conflict with dignity, not aggression or avoidance. Communicating clearly.
It's not necessarily about being loud or the life of the party then.
Not at all. He emphasizes it's about being authentic and respectful, not necessarily popular. These skills are vital everywhere. In the workplace, he argues projects often fail not because the idea was bad, but because the relationships broke down. Poor social skills.
And in families, obviously.
Hugely important. Communication, negotiation, forgiveness, these are all social skills in action. He sees conflict actually as the greatest test of these skills.
So,
Because the real skill isn't avoiding disagreements. It's navigating them constructively, seeking to understand the other side, clarifying misunderstandings, and trying to preserve the relationship even when you differ strongly.
that takes courage and vulnerability.
Yes, he links strong social skills to authenticity. Being willing to be a bit vulnerable, admit when you've made a mistake, speak your truth, but with humility. That's how you build real trust, not just superficial connections.
So building these skills helps create networks of trust.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, developing these skills means you become a kind of bridge builder in a divided world. Someone people feel better after interacting with. Calmer, maybe more hopeful.
That's a high bar, but a worthy one. So those are the 5 pillars: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. But Onunga doesn't leave them as abstract concepts. He shows how they play out.
Absolutely. He connects them directly to different areas of life, showing EI in action. Let's talk about leadership in business first.
Okay, how does EI change things there?
Well, Onunga argues compellingly that effective leadership today goes way beyond just having a good strategy or technical expertise. EI is what builds true loyalty.
Loyalty versus just compliance.
Exactly. Compliance you can get through fear or hierarchy. Loyalty comes when people feel genuinely valued, understood, and motivated. EI creates that atmosphere.
So what does an emotionally intelligent leader do?
They listen more than they talk. They practice self-regulation, think before reacting, especially under pressure. They pause before sending that angry email. They foster what psychologists call psychological safety,
Meaning?
meaning they create an environment where team members feel safe enough to speak up, to voice concerns, to share creative ideas, even to admit mistakes without fearing ridicule or punishment. That's crucial for innovation.
And in things like negotiations.
EI shifts the focus from just winning to finding mutual benefit, building long-term partnerships. Because Onunga reminds us, people remember how they felt during the negotiation, not just the final terms. That feeling impacts future dealings.
So for anyone in a leadership role or aspiring to be, EI isn't just a soft skill.
He calls it the true competitive advantage in today's complex world, with diverse teams and constant change. It brings not just results, but loyalty, legacy, and genuine influence.
Makes perfect sense. Now let's bring it closer to home. EI in relationships and family life. These are often our most challenging and important arenas.
Definitely. And Onunga is very clear here. Relationships thrive when people feel seen and heard. They wither when they feel ignored or misunderstood.
It's the daily stuff, isn't it?
It really is. Not grand gestures, but those daily acts of empathy, patience, choosing self-control in a tense moment. It's about presence.
And conflict. Families have conflict.
Of course. But EI transforms how we approach it. Instead of something destructive to be avoided at all costs, conflict becomes an opportunity for deeper understanding and stronger bonds, if handled with emotional intelligence.
Like a partner choosing to regulate their temper instead of escalating things.
Exactly. Or a parent having the humility to admit they made a mistake to their child, modeling that self-awareness and accountability.
And he talks about the home as the first school for EI.
Yes, powerfully. Children are constantly learning about emotions by watching how their parents respond to stress, to disappointment, to joy, to each other. So cultivating EI in family life isn't just for today's peace, but also for tomorrow's generation.
That puts a lot of responsibility on parents.
It does, but it's also an incredible opportunity. And he specifically addresses the digital challenge here, too.
The phones at the dinner table problem.
Basically, yeah. Technology can create these new barriers within families. EI calls us back to being truly present with each other, putting the phone down, making eye contact, valuing real connection over the digital illusion.
So in these intimate spaces, EI isn't a luxury.
He says it's a necessity, absolutely vital for building a legacy, a heritage of love, understanding, and peace within the family.
Building on that, let's look at the broader context. EI, in our digital, fast-changing world. You touched on technology, but it's bigger than just family dinners.
Oh, much bigger. Onunga acknowledges technology gives us amazing tools, but he warns they risk mastering us. Think about social media.
The comparison trap.
Right. Constant comparison, often fueling insecurity. Then there's the relentless news cycle, feeding anxiety 2047. It's a lot.
So how does EI help us cope with that environment?
It becomes our anchor. EI teaches us the crucial skill of pausing, breathing, filtering, deciding what information, what stimulus actually deserves our limited energy and attention.
Self-regulation again.
Hugely important here. It acts as that anchor against the overwhelm, against the constant pull of digital distraction and stress. And beyond just coping, EI urges us to actively resist the drift
How?
by intentionally prioritizing real face-to-face interaction, giving people our undivided attention, recovering what he beautifully calls the lost art of presence, choosing depth over the constant demand for speed.
So navigating this modern world effectively.
He argues EI is essential for survival, balance, and growth. It's how we choose connection over distraction, meaning over noise.
It really feels like a skill for our times.
Right.
So given how essential it is across all these areas, how do we get better at it? Is it something you're just born with?
Definitely not. Onunga is very clear. Emotional mastery is a lifelong journey. It's ongoing work.
He says it's not a destination we reach, but a road we must travel.
Exactly. We adapt, we learn, we mature. Our EI needs change and grow as we move through different life stages: childhood, youth, adulthood, aging.
So what's a practical piece of advice he gives for cultivating it day to day? Maybe something less obvious?
One thing he really emphasizes is learning from our failures. Those times we don't regulate our emotions well, the harsh words we regret,
We all have those moments.
we all do. But instead of just beating ourselves up, he says, view them as lessons, seeds for patience, for wiser choices next time, if we take the time to reflect honestly.
So reflection is key.
An intentional practice. Small, consistent daily habits. He mentions things like finding moments of silence, maybe journaling, ensuring you get proper rest, consciously practicing acts of kindness, cultivating gratitude.
And the people around us.
Crucial. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you constructively, who offer honest feedback even when it's hard to hear, and who model emotional intelligence themselves. We learn from each other.
It's not about becoming emotionless, though, is it?
Absolutely not. It's about harmonizing emotions, directing them toward life-giving ends, as he puts it, using anger constructively for justice, channeling sadness into compassion for others.
So the goal for you listening isn't perfection.
Not at all. It's about progress, not perfection. Every small step, every moment of choosing awareness or regulation or empathy matters. Each step, Onunga suggests, transforms wounds into wisdom.
Wow. What a journey we've covered today, really digging into Ing. Reuben Juma Onunga's book and his powerful insights. We've unpacked those 5 core pillars: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. And we've seen how they're not just concepts, but active, vital tools for your life.
Yeah, in business, in family, just in navigating the sheer pace and pressure of the modern world.
Onunga's central message really hits home, doesn't it? That emotional intelligence is this unseen force that makes life whole.
It really does. And maybe the most important takeaway is that this isn't just for CEOs or therapists or, special people. It's for absolutely all of us. Every day.
Every interaction.
Every single choice you make, no matter how small it seems, how you reply to that email, how you listen to your partner, how you react in traffic, it all ripples outward. It shapes your inner world, and it subtly shapes the world around you, too.
That's a powerful responsibility, but also an empowering one. So as you go back into your day, maybe hold on to this final thought from Onunga, something to mull over. The world outside us. Well, it won't always bend to our will it? Things happen we can't control. But our emotional response to those things, that we can influence. And that response can shape our experience, find meaning even in difficulty.
Yeah, reframes where the real power lies.
Exactly. And Onunga suggests that ultimately the real measure of a successful life won't just be about what we achieve or accumulate. It'll be found in something deeper. The peace we carried within ourselves, the love we extended to others, and the legacy of harmony we left behind.
A beautiful way to put it.
So the invitation is there, Shnayo. Embrace this journey. It's about transforming not just your own life, but maybe, just maybe, helping to transform the world around you, one emotionally intelligent choice at a time.